The human in the sacred market. The sacred market of Velthara was unlike any place on Earth. Floating stalls, glowing fruits, and strange creatures filled the air. The air smelled like burning spice and electric flowers. It was not a place where humans usually walked. In fact, no human had been allowed here for over 100 years. But today, one had entered. His name was Cole. He was tall, wearing old travel boots and a dark jacket. His short brown hair was messy, and his eyes moved quickly, watching everything, learning. He looked lost but calm, like he had been to dangerous places before. Cole didn't know the rules of this market. He only followed the map on his wrist device. He needed parts for his broken ship, but what he didn't know was that this market was sacred to the Veltharan royal bloodline. Touching anything without permission was forbidden. Touching someone was worse. At the same time, Princess Varaya walked through the market with her guards. She was the youngest daughter of the High Queen, known for her glowing skin and long silver blue hair. Her face was calm, cold, and proud. No smile touched her lips. She had been raised to rule, not to laugh. She hated coming to the market. But today the stars demanded a ritual visit, so she walked in silence, her royal crest glowing on her arm. And that's when it happened. Cole turned a corner, too fast. Varaya came from the other side, too quiet. They bumped into each other. It was only for a second. His hand touched hers as they tried to steady themselves. Her soft fingers brushed against his palm. A small shock passed between them. And then, her soul mark glowed, bright, blue, alive. Gasps filled the air. The market went silent. Even the floating lights above flickered. Varaya stared at her wrist. The mark hadn't glowed in her entire life. It only activated when a soulmate, the perfect match, was found, but it had activated because of a human. Her guards stepped forward, weapons half raised. "Stand down!" one barked at Cole. "I didn't mean to," Cole said, hands up. He looked around, confused. "What did I do?" Varaya didn't speak. She couldn't. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She felt her heart beating fast. That wasn't supposed to happen. She had been tested hundreds of times. The best of her, people, high-blooded nobles, had tried to bond with her. None had worked. But now, this stranger had done it with one touch. One human. A crowd formed. Some shouted. Others whispered, "Is it a mistake?" "That cannot be." A human. Blasphemy. Her oldest guard turned to her. "Princess, we must leave. Now." Still silent, Varaya looked at Cole again. His eyes weren't royal. Not trained. Not even alien. But something inside her stirred. A strange pull. Then she spoke, very softly. "What is your name?" Cole blinked. "Cole. Just Cole." The guard shouted again. "Princess!" She looked down at her wrist. The mark still glowed. Then she turned sharply and walked away without another word. The crowd parted. Her guards followed, shielding her from view. Cole stood alone. The marketplace lights dimmed again, as if the world was confused too. He slowly lowered his hands. What just happened? He didn't know. But the burning image of her glowing soul mark stayed in his mind. That night, in her private room, Varaya sat in silence. The mark on her wrist still pulsed gently. She stared at it, touched it, tried to use ancient tools to deactivate it, but nothing worked. She finally whispered to herself, "How can a human be my match?" Far away, Cole looked up at the alien, stars through his ship window. He touched his own hand, the one that had touched hers, and though he didn't know why, his heart felt heavier. Something had begun, and it couldn't be undone. The stars over Velthara were quiet, but the royal palace was not. Princess Varaya stood in the center of a large glowing hall. The walls pulsed with blue energy. 12 tall alien beings sat in floating chairs around her, the Bloodline Council. They were old, wise, and very strict. Each one had the glowing mark of noble birth. Each one stared at Varea's wrist, where the soulmate indicator still glowed softly. "Explain yourself," hissed Counselor Draxon, a thin, sharp-eyed elder. "How did a human activate the sacred mark?" Varea kept her voice calm, but her heart was racing. "It was an accident. We touched and it activated on its own." Murmurs filled the chamber. "A mistake, surely." "Impossible. A human, filthy, short-lived, violent. How could the mark choose him?" Another elder leaned forward. "Princess, the indicator must be tested. We will attempt a purification ritual. If it's false, it will fade." Varea said nothing. She knew the truth. The glow had burned her skin when she tried to erase it last night. This was no mistake. Still, she bowed and agreed to the ritual. But deep inside, she was afraid. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Cole sat in a dark room at the edge of the spaceport. A strange Veltharan soldier stood guard outside the door. Cole was being detained for questioning. He had no idea what had happened. No one told him. They just took his translator, searched his bag, and left him sitting alone. Suddenly, the ducker opened. Varea stepped inside, alone in a dark hood. Cole stood up fast. "You?" She held up a finger. "Quiet." He blinked. "Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you or do whatever I did. I was just trying to find a power converter. You touched me," she said softly, and something awakened. Cole paused. "Is this about the glowing thing on your arm?" Varea nodded. "Am I in trouble?" he asked, trying to joke. "Yes," she said, dead serious. "And so am I." She pulled back her sleeve. The soul mark was still glowing. Even brighter now. Cole stared. "What is it?" Varea hesitated. Then she told him, "It's called a soul match indicator. It only lights up when two beings are perfectly bonded, biologically, mentally, spiritually. It's very rare, and it only happens once in a lifetime." Cole scratched his head. "So you're saying I'm your alien soulmate?" "Yes." A long silence followed. Then he laughed nervously. "You're joking, right? I mean, you're glowing, but I never joke," she said. Cole's smile faded. "Oh." Back at the palace, the council prepared the purification ritual. A machine older than the kingdom itself was activated in the Hall of Ancients. It glowed with red energy, designed to burn away false marks, anything unnatural, fake, or unworthy. Varea stepped inside the circle of light. The mark on her wrist pulsed. Counselor Draxon gave the order. "Begin." The red energy wrapped around her body like smoke. She felt heat, pressure, pain. Then suddenly, the red turned blue. A loud crack echoed through the hall. The machine shut down. Gasps filled the room. The soul mark didn't fade. It glowed even brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. "It's real," one counselor whispered. "The bond is confirmed." "Unacceptable," Draxon shouted. "We cannot allow a human bloodline to mix with royal heritage." But it was too late. The ancient tech had spoken. Varea returned to Cole's room later that night. Her face was pale. "It's confirmed," she said. "The bond is real." Cole sat down slowly. "Okay. And what does that mean?" She looked
into his eyes. For the first time, she looked vulnerable. "It means my people will do anything to end it." Cole blinked. "Even," she nodded, "even if they have to end you."
The Temple of Stars was older than the palace, older than the council, older than Velthara itself. Hidden deep inside a quiet mountain range, it was where all soul bond trials were once tested in ancient times, when love, not law, ruled the skies. Now it had been opened for one reason, to test the human. Cole stood at the edge of the glowing platform. He didn't understand most of the symbols around him, but he understood one thing. He was being judged. Varea stood beside him, silent, her face calm but her hands shaking. She was dressed in a white ceremonial robe that shimmered like moonlight. Her eyes met his for a moment, but she quickly looked away. "Will this hurt?" Cole whispered. She didn't answer. From above, a voice echoed. "Begin the mind link." Two floating discs hovered down from the ceiling. Strange vines and wires extended from them and wrapped around their heads. The next moment, everything vanished. Cole blinked. He was no longer in the temple. He stood inside a warm forest filled with glowing trees and floating lights. The air smelled, like her, like rain and flowers. He looked to his side. Viraya was there, but younger. A child, maybe 7 years old. She sat alone on a stone, crying quietly. Cole didn't know what to do. But somehow his body moved forward. "Why are you sad?" his voice asked, though he hadn't spoken. The little girl looked up. "They say I'm cursed. I don't have a bond. I'm broken." Then the vision faded, quickly like smoke, and turned into something new. Now Viraya stood in a vision. She was inside a small dirty house made of metal and wood. Earth, maybe. A little boy, Cole, was sitting on a bed holding a photo of a woman. His mother? Outside, voices shouted. Loud, angry, dangerous. Cole's young voice said softly, "They always fight. She says it's not my fault, but I think it is." The vision hurt Viraya's heart. She had never seen human pain so raw, so real. One after another, the visions continued. Not memories, truths, moments of joy, fear, anger, hope. They saw each other not as alien and human, but simply as two souls, trying to survive in a cold galaxy. Then came the final vision. It was strange. Both of them stood in the same forest, but this time, they were adults. Older. Together. Cole held Viraya's hand. They were surrounded by a group of small glowing children, neither fully human nor fully alien. She looked at him. He smiled. And suddenly, they both felt it. Not just the mind link, but something deeper, a pull, a warmth, a bond. The vision cracked and shattered like glass. They gasped as the wires were pulled off. Cole stumbled. Viraya dropped to her knees. The counselor's voice echoed again. "The trial is over." The result? A small, floating orb, the truth core, glowed above them. It pulsed once, then spoke. Soul bond confirmed. Emotional, biological, and psychic. Match 99.87%. Status, true pair. The room fell silent. Not even the wind dared to move. Outside the temple, guards prepared to separate them. But when Viraya tried to stand, her knees gave out. Cole caught her, instinctively. The moment their hands touched again, the soul mark on her wrist flared bright, brighter than ever. The guards froze. The priest overseeing the ritual stepped forward. Shocked. "This has not happened in 1,000 years," he whispered. "The bond is awakening." Viraya leaned against Cole's shoulder. Her voice was soft, tired. "I saw something in the vision. Something strange." Cole looked at her. "What was it?" She looked up at him, eyes wide. "You were in my dreams, before I ever met you." The royal keep of Velthara was not made to hold criminals. It was made to contain threats to the bloodline. Viraya sat alone in a silver room with no doors, no windows, just smooth walls that hummed with ancient energy. The soul mark on her wrist still glowed faintly, but now it felt more like a target than a symbol. Her own mother, the queen, had ordered her to be isolated. She wasn't being punished, not yet. But she was being watched, every second, every breath. The reason? Because she refused to deny the bond. Because she defended the human. Meanwhile, Cole was locked 3 levels underground. His room was colder, darker, surrounded by alien guards with gold armor and black eyes. His translator had been removed again. He had no idea what they were planning, but he knew one thing. He wouldn't last here long. He had seen it in the guards' eyes. They feared him, hated him, not because of anything he did, but because of what he was to her. That night, the silence was broken. A small drone, no larger than a fruit, flew into Cole's cell. It made no sound, just hovered. Then it spoke in Varea's voice. "Get ready. You have 60 seconds. Cole blinked. Wait, what? The floor beneath him rumbled. At the same moment, deep in her silver room, Varea touched her glowing soul mark to the wall. The energy responded. It didn't stop her. It opened a way. A hidden passage appeared, only visible to someone with the bonded mark. She had found it by accident days ago while trying to understand her bond, and now she was using it. Because she had made her choice. She would not let them erase him. Cole's floor dropped open. He fell onto a dark ramp, sliding fast through stone and metal tunnels. Cold air rushed past him. He landed hard, but alive. Right in front of her, Varea was already waiting in a long hooded cloak. He looked up, stunned. "You broke me out?" She nodded once. "You saved me in the mind link. I return the favor now. But they'll come after you. They already are." Behind them, alarms screamed to life. Together they ran through a narrow, forgotten tunnel system under the palace. It was part of the old ways, a lost maze of emergency routes built long before the council existed. "We can't use the skyways," she said. "They'll be guarded. But I know another way." They reached a dead end. A wall of glowing stone blocked the path. Varea pressed her hand, soul mark first, against the rock. It melted into mist. Beyond it, an ancient desert. Cold wind howled. 2 moons hung in the sky. This was the outer wastes, a dangerous region where royal power meant nothing. Cole looked out. "Where does it lead?" "To the ruins of the first temple," Varea said. "It's where my ancestors once went to find truth." He nodded slowly. "And us?" "We go there to find answers." They walked for hours, the sky dark, stars sharp like knives above. Cole noticed her shivering. Without asking, he took off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. She didn't stop him. In silence, they shared warmth, not through words, through trust. Suddenly, the ground beneath them cracked. They jumped back just in time as a large creature burst from the sand, 6 legs, glowing teeth, claws like blades. A sand howler. Varea stumbled, unarmed. Cole picked up a sharp rock. It was a stupid weapon, but all he had. He stood between her and the monster. The howler roared. Cole didn't move. Just before it pounced, Varea's hand glowed, not the mark, her whole body. She stepped beside Cole and raised her arm. A burst of blue light exploded from her palm, blinding, pure. The howler screeched, then vanished into the sand. Cole stared at her, stunned. What was that? Varea blinked. She looked at her own hand. I don't know. They stood there, breathing hard. Then she whispered, "The bond is changing me too." The desert didn't rest. Cold winds blew like whispers in the dark. The stars were sharp above and the ground below was full of danger. But still, Cole and Varea walked forward, step by step, toward the ruins of the first temple. Behind them, death was chasing elite soldiers from Velthara. The Zavarkin had been released. Not just any soldiers. These were silent hunters trained to track soul-bond fugitives. They didn't take prisoners. They erased mistakes, and to them, a human soulmate was the worst kind of mistake. "We don't have much time," Varea said, her voice tight with fear. "The Zavarkin are near. I can feel them." Cole looked around. "How?" She touched her temple. "My bond to Velthara runs deep. I was born connected to their power grid. Every order, every signal, it passes through me." He frowned. "Then they can track you?" "Yes," she said softly. And soon, they'll track you too. Hours later, they stumbled into a shattered canyon of broken stone statues and cracked symbols. This was the ruins of the first temple. Once it had been a place of peace. Now only bones remained, but they weren't alone. A group of aliens stepped out of the shadows. Rough clothes, scarred faces, glowing weapons. They were the exiles, rebels, outcasts, people who had once been soul-bonded with forbidden matches, and paid the price. One of them, a tall woman with metal arms, narrowed her eyes. "You brought a human here?" Varaya didn't flinch. "He is my bond," the exiles muttered. A younger one stepped forward, pointing at Cole. "Then prove it. Let us test him." Before Cole could speak, they fired a small dart into his chest. Everything went black. He woke up in a tent made of old alien banners. Lights buzzed around him. Varaya sat nearby, watching. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," he groaned. "What was that?" "A scan," she said. "They read your DNA." Cole sat up slowly. "Did I pass?" She didn't speak. Instead, the tent flap opened. The metal-armed leader entered. Her name was Kayla. She threw something on the floor, a small glowing stone. "That's his bond pattern," she said. "But something's wrong." Varaya stood. "What do you mean?" Kayla stared at Cole. "His DNA is changing. The bond didn't just mark him, it's rewriting him." Cole blinked. "What?" Kayla stepped closer. "He's becoming more than human, maybe even more than Veltharan." Viraya's eyes widened. "Is that why I used that light against the beast?" Kayla nodded. "The bond between you isn't normal. It's ancient, something older than the council wants you together." She looked at Viraya, and that scares them. Suddenly, alarm screamed outside. A scout ran into the tent. "The Zevarkin, they're here!" Kayla pulled out her blade. "Get the human to the caves. We'll hold them off." Cole stood fast. "No, I'm not running while people die. For me." Kayla looked at him again, this time with respect. "Then fight," she said, tossing him a plasma staff. Moments later, the ruins became a war zone. Blue fire lit the sky. Screams echoed. The exiles fought like ghosts, fast, brutal, silent. Cole stood beside Varaya, defending the temple door. One Zevarkin broke through, taller than the others, blades humming. It lunged at Varaya. Cole shoved her aside. The blade cut into his shoulder deep. He screamed, but didn't fall. Instead, something inside him snapped. His veins glowed. His eyes flickered with alien light. He reached forward, and the Zevarkin's weapon shattered into sparks. Everyone froze. Even Varaya. "Cole?" she whispered. He turned slowly. "I don't know what's happening." She stepped forward, staring at him in awe. "I do," she said. "You're becoming part of me." Cole sat in the cave silence, blood still drying on his torn shirt. His shoulder was healing, too fast. The skin where the Zevarkin's blade had cut him was already closing. Blue veins glowed faintly beneath. He stared at his hands. They didn't feel like his anymore. Across the small fire, Viraya watched him closely. She looked tired, dirty, and shaken, but still royal, still proud. "You've changed," she said softly. Cole looked up. "I can feel it. Something inside me, growing." She moved closer, her voice quiet. "The bond didn't just choose us, it's merging us, mind, soul, maybe even DNA." He let out a breath. "Is that even possible?" Varaya nodded. "Thousands of years ago, it was said that the first ones created a bridge between our kinds, a way to evolve, together. But the council buried it. They called it dangerous, forbidden." Cole rubbed his arm. "And now it's happening again." She hesitated. "You may not be human for long." He looked at her, eyes full of quiet fear. "Then what am I becoming?" Outside, the ruins still smoked. The exiles buried their dead in silence. Kyla, the metal-armed leader, stood watching the stars. She spoke without looking back. The boy's changing fast. Too fast. Varaya joined her. The bond chose him. That's not a mistake. Kayla's tone turned cold. It's not about love anymore, princess. It's about power. You two are unlocking something ancient. Something the council was right to fear. Varaya clenched her fists. Then they should fear what they tried to erase. That night, Cole had a dream. Not just any dream, a shared dream. He stood in a black ocean under a red sky. The waves whispered secrets. Varaya stood beside him, though neither of them spoke. Then a voice echoed around them, ancient, deep, like a song sung by stars. The union returns, the blood remembers, the key awakens. Suddenly, a massive stone gate rose from the sea. On it was a glowing symbol, the same one that appeared on Varaya's soul mark, and now burned faintly on Cole's chest. He reached for the gate and woke up gasping. Varaya sat up too. You saw it? He nodded. The symbol, the voice, she whispered. The key. That's what you are. Kayla led them to a hidden chamber beneath the ruins. Only the oldest exiles knew of it. Inside, ancient carvings covered the walls. Half-human, half-alien figures locked in embrace, in battle, in unity. At the center stood a broken console glowing faintly. Varaya placed her hand on it. Nothing happened. Then, Cole stepped forward. He touched the same spot. The console lit up with a hum, and then projected a hologram. An old alien recording played. If you are seeing this, then the bond has returned. The key has awakened. The blood of both worlds must unite once more or everything will fall. The vision showed two galaxies colliding. Death, war, extinction. Then a single light, a bonded pair, holding the destruction apart. Cole's voice was a whisper. It's not just about us. Varaya nodded. It's about all of them. The whole galaxy. Far away, the High Council received the report. Subject, Cole, human male. Status, unstable hybridization confirmed. Evolution is active. Power levels rising. Counselor Draxon slammed his fist. He is not a soulmate. He is a threat to Velthara itself. The Queen stood silently. Then finally she spoke. Send the arch-silencers. Make sure neither the human, nor my daughter, leaves that ruin alive. Back in the cave, Cole sat beside Varaya. He looked at her hands. Calloused, glowing, strong. You're not the same either, he said. She gave a small smile. Maybe the bond is changing us both. Then she touched his chest where the mark had formed, and this time it pulsed with light. There, mark synced, one heartbeat, one bond. The sky above Velthara turned red at dawn, not from the sun, but from the arrival of warships. Hundreds of them hovered above the capital. Each one carried the mark of the High Council, and leading them, the most feared assassins in the galaxy, the arch-silencers. No trials, no words, no mercy. Their mission was clear: eliminate the bonded pair. In the ruins below, Cole stood with his hands clenched. His body glowed faintly now, blue lines running through his skin like quiet lightning. Beside him, Varaya looked calm, but her soul mark pulsed like a warning. Kayla ran into the chamber. They're here, all of them. They're going to level this place. Varaya stepped forward. No, not yet. They want proof. They want to show the people we're just a mistake. Cole nodded slowly. Then we show them the truth. Kayla frowned. You'll be killed. Varaya met her eyes. Maybe, but not quietly. The exiles gathered, rebels, traitors, outcasts. This was their last stand. Cole and Varaya walked to the center of the broken temple. A glowing platform rose, from the ground long forgotten, the ancient Union beacon. This thing still works? Cole asked. Only when two real bondmates activate it together, Varaya replied. He took her hand. The moment their palms touched, the beacon ignited. A pillar of golden blue light exploded into the sky, and every single soul on Velthara felt. The warship stopped midair. On every screen, in every ship, in every palace, the vision appeared. Two beings, alien and human, bound by light, standing as one. The beacon transmitted their shared memories, their fears, their pain, their bond. All of it. Children gasped, elders wept, even the soldiers paused. And then the signal spread beyond Velthara, across planets, systems, to places where humans and aliens lived in silence. The galaxy saw the truth. The bond was real and beautiful, but the council did not stop. The arch-silencers descended like shadows. A blast shook the temple. Kyla and her fighters rushed to protect the platform. Varaya raised her arms. Her entire body blazed with energy now. Her royal bloodline and the bond's power merged into one. Cole stood beside her, not as a soldier, but as a shield. Together, they stood their ground. The final assassin charged, a being twice Cole's size, armored in black void steel. Its blade hummed with energy, meant to kill bonded pairs. It struck. Cole caught the blade. It stopped. The assassin's eyes widened. Cole's voice was calm, clear, inhuman. "You fear the future, but we are the future." His chest glowed with the mark. He pushed the blade away, and the assassin flew backward, crashing into stone. No one moved. Then slowly, the Zavarkin dropped their weapons, one by one. Even the warships turned back. The bond had spoken louder than any order. Later, in the great hall of Velthara, the queen stood before her people. Varaya and Cole stood at her side, hand in hand. The queen raised her voice. "For centuries, we believed purity was strength. We were wrong. It is unity that brings power." She turned to her daughter. "I tried to stop you. I tried to control the bond. But I see now, the bond cannot be controlled. It must be respected." She stepped back, and for the first time in the history of Velthara, a human was allowed to speak from the throne steps. Cole looked at the crowd. He didn't use big words. He just said, "We didn't plan this. We didn't even ask for it. But we chose each other. That's all we ever wanted." He looked at Varaya. "And now, we choose you. All of you." The galaxy changed that day. The bond returned. Old laws fell. New ones were written. Alien and human began to walk the stars together. Not as enemies, not as strangers, but as something more. And in the quiet night, under the stars that first brought them together, Varaya leaned her head on Cole's shoulder. "You were never just a mistake," she whispered. He smiled. "Neither were you." Their marks pulsed together. A new era had begun.